You know, the older we are becoming, the more we are realizing that our young people feel very entitled. Maybe partly the parents are to blame. The way we were brought up in the colonial era with all the challenges, we never got a chance to have any entitlement. But maybe the way you are brought up our children is what has orientated them to have entitlement, to feel I am this, therefore this must happen to me. And it's the same thing even with our parents. Our parents feel our children must get this and not this. Don't they know don't they know who their father is? And I think the spirit of entitlement is not a biblical spirit. Right on the outset, you know that God does his will. We can pray, but we can't command him. So in the end, how would you go before God and be entitled when you know he is the one who knows what is best for you and he knows what you should get and what you should not get? In fact, he encourages us to pray and always say, let your will be done. And when you say let your will be done, means I'm not entitled. I don't know enough to become entitled. I leave myself in your hands, and I'm happy enough for you to do what you know to be best for me, even if it does not agree with what I imagined I should have. There are several dangers of the spirit of entitlement. The first one is when you are entitled, you cannot be grateful. If God has just done what you expected him to do and what you have a right to get, why would you need to thank him? If your parents have done for you what you have a right to get, why would you ever thank them? If your spouse has done what you have a right to get, why do you thank them? So people that are entitled also end up with bad interpersonal relations. Because nobody wants to be taken for granted. Your parents don't. Your spouse doesn't. Your children don't. They want to be appreciated. They don't feel like whatever they do to you, they do it because you have a right. It's because they love you. So they would expect that you'll be grateful. Now, so when you become somebody entitled, and therefore somebody who cannot say thank you for anything, you will discover slowly you have a problem in your relationships, either at work or at home or at church. There'll be a problem. This entitlement can be anybody, can be a pastor who feels entitled. Don't you know I'm your pastor? So when you give him a gift, he doesn't feel he needs to say thank you. What for? My right as a pastor. How he got that right, it's not very clear because Paul says even what I have a right for, I don't insist on. And Paul was talking as a pastor. So you need to ask yourself, in which way are you entitled? Also, if you have the spirit of entitlement, not only do you not become grateful and thankful, and therefore the excitement of feeling people have done good to you and so you get happy, you lose that. But what is worse is you end up easily in depression and frustration. Here you are, I don't know you're entitled to tea, so you arrive to my house, and because there's something else I'm doing, I continue doing it, and I don't give you tea. And I think if you wanted tea, you also can make it in the because you have the freedom in my house. You can make some tea. But you are entitled. What happens? You become very bitter and very unhappy, and you might go without any tea. But even if you make it, you feel belittled. People who are entitled are sure to end up with a very frustrating experience, because many people who you feel entitled to get from are not even aware that they're supposed to do things for you. And when they do it because they love you. They don't do it because you're entitled. So many people will fail you. And when they fail you, you have a quarrel with them. So it's not just a relational problem, but an internal problem. And that spirit of complaining and bitterness could even become a medical issue. And it all came from feeling entitled, feeling people owe me. So this spirit of entitlement, where does it come from? I think part of the problem, it may come from the people around you, treating you in such a way that you feel like they'll be losers if they don't treat you that way. In other words, they are the ones gaining out of treating you in that way. They are the ones gaining, not you. You start feeling, what would my parents do without me as their son? In other words, if they do good to you as a son, it is them gaining, not you. So why would you need to thank them? Why are they not doing it? Do they know which side their bread is buttered? They should be doing this for me if they love themselves. If that's likely to come out of the way they have treated you. So the first thing we must say, if we do not want entitled children, entitled people, with all the frustration that we are leading them to later in life as parents, we must teach the children early. They have absolutely no right to anything. Anything they get is a favor, either from God, either from their parents. Even if they don't get it, nothing will happen to God. In other words, there's nothing God gets by giving you. It is you that is getting the favor. So the first thing is we must teach this correctly right from the beginning, that there is absolutely nothing we are entitled to. Anything we get it as a favor. And when we get it as a favor, that means our life will be full of excitement as we see God's goodness, as we see our parents' goodness, as we see our boss's goodness. We will live a joyful life. Back to Mzee Jacob. He wants to bless the sons of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim. And this time, the father of Manasseh and Ephraim is the one who is feeling that that Manasseh is entitled to the blessings of a firstborn. But Joseph believe God has talked to him, believes there are certain blessings that will go not to Ephraim but to Manasseh. So we read in Genesis chapter 48, verse 18. Joseph said to him, "No, my father, this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head." The old man refused. And in this one, Jacob was teaching us, the old Moshe, they are nobody entitled. God looks at all his children. Nobody is entitled. He can give to the lastborn what the firstborn wanted. He can give to the middleborn what the lastborn wanted. God looks at all his children, knows them, and gives what is best for them. none of them is actually entitled. So Joseph must have gone a very frustrated man because his father has not recognized the entitlement of his firstborn son. Maybe that's the way you're also dealing with your children, giving people a sense of entitlement, and in the process, you are the one causing trouble amongst the people you are dealing with. So, if you choose to be entitled, that will help us to know you have no idea who God is. If you knew who God is, number one, you know He's holy, perfectly holy. And if He is, what can you ever deserve from a holy God when you know you yourself are not holy enough? I know you are better than me, but we are not discussing better than me. We are talking about a perfect God. There's absolutely nothing you can deserve from Him. So the spirit of entitlement is one sure sign you have no idea who God is. Number two, if you have the spirit of entitlement, you condemn yourself to laziness. Because there are things you will not do for yourself because you expect others to do for you. When they don't do, they remain undone. When you don't have any spirit of entitlement, you work without expecting anybody to help you. That does not mean they will not help you, but they will help you. And when they help you, you get excited from the help and it pushes you even further on. You need to live your life without expecting anything from anybody. And if you have any prayer, it's not to man, but to God who created you. And so when nobody is helping you at all, you will have no quarrel with them because you rely on God, not on your parents, not on your children, not on your workmates, but on God. So what we learn? That the spirit of entitlement is not a good spirit. In Romans chapter 1, we are told these people who felt entitled and did not even want to thank God in any way, God gave them up, and some of them became homosexuals and all kinds of things, as Romans chapter 1 from verse 18 says. So it's a dangerous thing to have that spirit of entitlement that causes you not to be grateful to God or grateful to anybody. It will ruin you. We have learned. Number two, we have learned that the spirit of entitlement is a spirit that will bring you to depression because people are not going to do what you expect them to do. Number one, because they don't even know that you are expecting. Number two, they feel you are using them. And once people feel used, they'll just have nothing to do with you. You are condemning yourself to a life of frustration if you choose the way of entitlement. You may be a firstborn, but you know God can choose to bless somebody else who is not a firstborn. You may be the cleverest person that was employed in your year, but God may choose to give a promotion to somebody else. You may be the most beautiful girl, but God may choose your ugly friends to be the ones who get married first. You are in God's hands. You are not entitled to anything. You wait for God's favor.